Good evening, everyone. This is another episode of Fred Speaks, and I have a wonderful subject, and it's called longevity. And when you think of longevity, you think of life and duration of life. But what I wanted to speak about is longevity in regards to relationships, whether they're friendships or, um, intimate relationships, um, couples, marriages, etc. Um, and when you think about longevity, especially in this day and time, 2018, uh, there are very few relationships that have longevity. The lifespan of relationships now are decreasing all the time. And it seems like uh, in times past, that relationships, marriages lasted for, until death, do us part. And so I was having a discussion with someone, and they were, basically telling me that, in times past, that specifically in regards to women, that women just, put up with things, and so that's why the relationships and marriages lasted longer. And I can't really uh, speak to that because I wasn't living in that time. But all I can say is that the people in my life that I observed, um, seem to have, long relationships and marriages. Specifically, my grandfather and grandmother. And again, I don't know the details of their relationship, but they were married many, many years. And actually, prior to their deaths, they were still, still married. So that's the only thing I can go off of. Except I do recall my mother and her relationship, with her husband. And that relationship, even though it was not such a good relationship for my mother, uh, it had longevity. And so I was thinking in regards to marriage, uh, the vow said, for better or worse, until death do us part. And I wonder, those who are out there that may be listening or may listen to this later, is what, or does the vows concerning marriage even mean anything these days? When it says for better or worse, richer or poor, does those things, are those things even prevalent anymore? Or is it just that you get married, and if things are not going well, you just, you get a divorce? And the reason I really wanted to speak on this subject is because I have been affected, you know, when it comes to relationships and marriage and everything. And I, even myself, I even question why I did not, wasn't able to achieve that longevity in my marriage. And I remember before I got married, my whole mindset, my heart was set on being with someone, um, and growing old, and being able to, be sitting on the rocking chair, together, and but that didn't happen. So, like I said, even myself, I even question or wonder whether in this day and time that it's possible to achieve that longevity. And, you know, so just some thoughts that I'm having, but I think that it is a great thing when individuals are able to achieve that longevity in their relationships. Um, and so far, I have been speaking on, relationships in regards to, intimate or marriage. But even with friendships, it seems that, longevity is hard to achieve. Um, Different things come up, and we just, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I know that there's some circumstances where you do have to move on. Um, but just kind of, my thoughts to this evening, just, you know, why is it that we're not able to achieve longevity in relationships, specifically, which makes us thrive is basically having that human interaction with each other and being able to have that closeness with one another. Um, it seems that that should be one of the top things that we're able to achieve, but it definitely in this day and time it does not seem to be. I've seen marriages. Someone get married on a Saturday, and 2 weeks later they're like, "I can't do it." And so I wonder if it's when it comes to marriage, if it is you're not really listening to the vows that you're making before God, that you will have with this person. And I believe that it takes when you have two people that come from different backgrounds and, um, you know, two different family raisings and whatever, it, can be challenging because now you're trying to take these two people and make them one, you know, and as long as you're focused on you, then there'll be things that come up where you're like, I don't have to put up with this, I don't have to deal with that or whatever. um but just having longevity is great, even when it comes to a job. I mean, I'm the type of person that if I start a job and everything, and I enjoy what I'm doing, um I tend to stay with it because um I want to have that longevity. I want to have something that I enjoy and want to be a part of. And so I'm just kind of wondering, what are your thoughts out there, concerning longevity in regards to relationships? And as I was mentioning at the beginning, when you think of the word longevity, you think of life, the duration of life. And so, why is it that our relationships don't have that duration of life, that they're still thriving and going, uh, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and what is preventing us from achieving that we have that longevity? So just wanted to get that out and get some thoughts out there concerning longevity. But I believe that it's something that everybody, when you go into, especially relationships, you want longevity. You're looking to achieve something that maybe it was your grandparents that you saw that had that longevity. And it's amazing how we start off, we meet someone and we're so into them, and we're doing all the little things, all the things to basically get them to like us, to love us, and everything. And then as soon as we get married, then it's like we want to go on vacation, and we don't want to do the things that um, it took to get the person. And so I believe that has a lot to do with longevity as well, is that it's no more about just me. And I'm going to give this an example, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this evening. But I remember when I got married, or prior to when I got married, I loved to play basketball, and I remember I would play probably 3 or 4 times a week. And I got married, and I still wanted to uh, basically have the same routine of things I was doing when I was single. And so I wanted to keep my routine of, going to play ball, and, staying out real late, getting home, 9, 10 o'clock, from playing ball and stuff. And I had to realize that, hey, I'm married now. I have somebody else to consider. And I know this is a small example, and this is probably nothing that causes, you know, no, probably no one can say that this is, their issue why they don't have that longevity. But I'm just saying this is some of the things that, they start small, and they end up being growing to bigger, to this big mountain. And it's all because we're only thinking about ourselves. But when you start to think about someone else, and that this thing is bigger than just me, but there's somebody else that is in the picture as well. And then if you have children, then it makes it a bigger picture, because now you have some little ones that, need stability, and need that, that father and that mother. So just when it comes to longevity, it is, and this is my personal opinion, but it is a sacrifice. It is a for better or worse. I don't want to just be with you as long as things are good, but even when the worst come, do I have it in me to stay with you, and to endure the hard times, as well as the good times. So just want to get your thoughts. I hope that if you listen to this podcast, that you will give some comments concerning this podcast. But longevity is something that we as human beings should be able to achieve in all aspects of our lives. And I was just, trying to focus on relationships, but it's something that we should want in all aspects of our life. And I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. And as I mentioned, I look to hear your comments and thoughts concerning longevity. Have a good night.